Hey guys, we just got back from an early showing of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I gotta say, whoa, it's really, really good. Yes. What do you think?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was funny. It was had a great story. You guys must go out and watch this film.
Yeah, it's great. I really liked it.
I think it's one of the best, if not the best, animated film of 2018. I was really, encouraged by the trailers, and mostly, what's that one movie where the best part of the movie was this trailer at the end?
Wreck-It Ralph. Or Ralph
was it Wreck-It Ralph that showed Spider-Man at the end, an early showing or something like that? And boy, I could tell you, man, I am just blown away about how good this is. This is pretty much as close as you can get to simulating a comic book on screen.
Yeah, I really like the animation. I know before you saw the trailer, you're like, I don't know about this whole kind of animation. How did you feel about that one?
Yeah, so that was something that I was
annoying?
I was really worried about it. I freaking hated it. I said I hate it, and no matter what, I'm gonna hate it. But as I was watching it, you kind of get used to it. Now, and overall, it wasn't an issue. You get used to it, and you're into it, and things work out. And by the end, you don't really notice it. But would it have been better if it was flowing animation? Maybe. But it's just that OCD in my brain from computers and low frame rates, and you just see the
fix it. Somebody come fix this.
But I swear to God, you get used to it, and you won't notice it anymore. The story really engages you, and it involves you. And honestly, I'm not going to say this lightly. There are moments in this movie that are literally a work of art. I mean, this is a creatively driven movie. You know what I'm saying? It's just comic book movies have kind of started to get a little samey. I mean, we've had 18 of them with the Marvel films, and we've had some bad ones with DC and some good ones. And they kind of adhere to a formula. This one kind of throws the formula out the door. I mean, this one seems to be able to take risks, and they pay off, in my opinion. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think that, well, it's a different medium entirely, right? Because they get to do more things because it's animated.
Yeah.
So we had longer, more drawn-out fights that just would cost hundreds of millions of dollars
CGI.
if it was real with CGI, and so we get to see some really exciting scenes, like action sequences in this film that we wouldn't normally.
Yeah.
And for me, it's one of the better Spider-Man films that I've seen. I still have not seen Homecoming, so what do you guys think?
Yeah, Homecoming
is good. Because the other Spider-Mans that I've seen started falling. This one is bringing me back.
This is one of the best Spider-Man films.
To bring me back to Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's surprisingly deep. Complex even, maybe overly complex for children. I mean, we went to a screening and they brought in a lot of kids as well.
Yeah.
This is it's like 9 in the morning right now. I'm barely awake, guys. But luckily they were quiet through the film. But I thought it was surprisingly deep, complex, and it had a sort of a mature jokes from time. I wouldn't say mature jokes, but adult jokes that probably would fly over the heads of kids here and there. Of course, they've got the funny stuff, as always. But I was really happy with how it's not, sort of dumbed down or appealing just to the stupidity or the dumb parts.
Just fart jokes.
And shit. For how animation, when you're watching a bad animated film, it starts to do that crap. This doesn't do that. This tells, this tells a complex story, an interesting story, and there are a lot of characters in here, okay? We're not going to spoil it for you. We're going to talk about it in spoilers, but you've seen the characters in the trailer. So we have, we got Peter Parker, we got Gwen Stacy, Noir Spider-Man, which is Nicolas Cage. That was awesome to see. And then you have like an anime Spider-Man,
Parker,
and then you have
Peter Porker.
Peter Porker.
Spider-Pig, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know his name. But so what did you guys think of this whole Spider-Man team-up thing?
Though there was a lot of Spider-Man, like, they were pretty much well-developed. Like, they all had the little quick things, but it was great. It was funny, though. My favorite turned out to be Peter Porker.
You like Peter Parker? Yeah, Joe? I thought he didn't get enough.
After I got, shit for it, I was like, what? This is too cartoony. I ended up liking it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. So I felt he was kind of disappearing in there, and I was like, what is the point of Peter Porker? I was more into noir Spider-Man. But I know the moment you talk about where they make a fun of the fact that he's a cartoon and goes off. So that is a standout moment of the film, yeah. They do have other cameos. In fact, well, we'll talk about it in spoilers, but cameos that you might guess and cameos that you may not guess, and little Easter eggs, I should say. For that. If you're a fan of the game, there are Easter eggs. So, just overall really well done. The writing in particular, I thought was very good. When they made a joke, I was laughing. Now, I say this film starts real strong to me. Like, it kind of throws a lot at you, but it's easy to understand. Yeah. You're involved. You're engaged. I think towards the end of the second act and the third act, they're still throwing jokes in there, but I didn't laugh. I wasn't laughing at those jokes, but I was still fully entertained. You know what I mean? So it didn't matter at all to me that, everybody was hilariously laughing in the audience, and I was like, oh, well, but it was still really, really good because the action was so awesome. I think I like how they can go exaggerated because there are exaggerated moments in the film. Even the villains, you have a nice new spin on
Green Goblin,
on the villains in the universe because this is an alternate dimension, Miles Morales. So what did you guys think of the title character, Miles Morales? He's our first African-American / Latino Spider-Man and hero. Yes, he's Puerto Rican.
I know you love him.
I'm about to beat you up if you say anything bad. But he's actually not the first Latino Spider-Man. That's somebody else, and you probably don't know. But
I do not.
What do you think about this one?
I liked it. I thought I was going to be like kind of annoyed, like he's going to be like teenager angst kind of thing. But it was all great. And he acted like an adult and took matters into his own hand when he needed to.
What do you think, Alex?
I was worried that they were going to, because he's new, right? He's a newer, like as far as like his, him having the powers, he's a newer Spider-Man. And I was worried that they were going to be like, oh, he can't do it. And him, dwelling on the fact that he wants to prove himself over and over. And sometimes movies with teenage main characters, they really stress it to the point where it's annoying. It's like, I get it, you want to prove yourself. I get it, you want to prove yourself. But they didn't do that. They had just the right amount of time, and they developed him as a character, and they didn't fall into some of the pitfalls that a lot of these teen-led movies fall into.
Yeah, you really believe that his teenage lifestyle, where his family loves him, you can tell his father loves him, his mother loves him. You could see that we get a little bit of the sort of Peter Parker school stuff. We get a little bit of that with Miles Morales, just with a spin on it in school and worrying about what people think of him and things like that. Of course, it's Miles, and so it's slightly different. It's all really, really fun because you get to see a Spider-Man origin story with a different take on it, and it hits some familiar beats, but yet it's all unique, and we see that over and over because when we see, and I don't say that as a negative thing because you think you'd get sick of it because they say we got to start at the beginning because every time somebody's introduced, they're like, we got to start at the beginning, and
it's funny yet informative.
Yeah, but it goes real quick, and you're interested in their little backstories and to see where they come from. And I think the story for Miles Morales is done. There are so many references to his comics. They do him justice. This is, like I said, not only visually is a great adaptation of a comic book style, just flowing, and it works perfectly there, but also some of the storylines and themes and origin stories of Miles Morales. So I think they absolutely nailed it. It was great voice acting across the board. What was Joe, you know this, the guy from New Girl, the Peter Parker,
Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson, yeah. So
he's a funny guy. I like him.
Yeah, but at first I didn't, I was like, that's not Peter Parker, but I got used to his voice, and I was like, okay. So I was skeptical about that, but he convinced me later on. He did his job really well, though I heard behind the scenes that they were going to have Tobey Maguire at one point voice one of of these Spider-Men, and you'll see which one. And now I think they're kicking themselves. I think I read an interview where like it could have probably worked.
Yeah.
But I think when the discussion with movie theaters, they thought that maybe it would be too confusing for audiences because it's like, what universe is this Spider-Man from? But it's not confusing because if you look at the start, it's clearly telling you what universe it's from. It's showing references and scenes from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. So it would have been
little jabs. I like the little jabs.
Amazing.
They were really good.
Toby, put out a commentary track where you do this voice just for free. Do it, and then when I get my DVD, because I'm gonna buy this DVD, I'll put that on there so that we get a little bit of Toby up in the movie. Because this was great, man. I'm totally buying this, as you can see.
Yeah.
What about some of the subplots? Did you feel that anything was out of place in the movie, or did you feel that all the subplots sort of strengthened it?
Well, I didn't. So what's great about the subplots in this film is they didn't feel like subplots because they were all actually involved and they were important. They didn't feel like we were going off on little missions to go take care of this for no reason or go do something over here to take care of that. They were all actually important to the development of all the different characters. So they didn't really feel like subplots. So I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, we get
everything had a purpose. So didn't bother me at all.
We get villains that we've seen in Miles Morales' universe. And honestly, I thought that because maybe it was a kid's film or something, that they were going to change some of the story beats of Miles Morales. For example, the fate of Spider-Man in Miles Morales' universe, but they didn't pull any punches, you know. And that gave the film emotional impact. Were you guys emotionally? Did you feel any emotion in it?
I did.
You did, Joe.
I did.
Okay, well that's the mark of a good film.
It was. I did like it.
And it's not just that moment from his sort of origin story. There are other moments that are earned by the film. Man, this is good. Not only is it, in my opinion, the best animated film, if I'm correct, of 2018, but it's one of the best films of 2018, in my opinion. So if you're a huge fan of Spider-Man,
you're really gonna enjoy it.
You're gonna freak out. This is him shown in a completely different way. It's so nice and refreshing to see all these different Spider characters. I didn't realize. I knew that there were alternate universes, and I knew they've been doing other stuff with like Gwen Stacy.
How many more are there?
Peter Porker. There's more, Joe.
There's more. I know.
There's a future Spider-Man. There's other Spider-Man, and so I just think,
damn.
I mean, this is good. This is and this is a complete story too. They don't try to sequel bait, and if they never make another one of these into the Spider-Verse movies, this thing stands alone as a fantastic film. But I
want to see another one.
Yeah, me too. Because of how good this is. Only if they get the same writers. Because that dialogue is so strong. The jokes are so smart, and the references are like the right references instead of the wrong
bait
references.
a little bit. I don't want to. The very we won't get into spoilers, but they definitely sequel.
Well, that
is
not in the film. That is an after credits thing.
No,
so
there's absolutely something in the film itself where they're sequel baiting.
Okay, well you'll have to talk about it in the spoilers. No, that's not what a sequel bait is. It's a complete freaking story. It doesn't shove it in your face and you're like, oh man, now I need to see the next one to actually get the real story. It's nothing like that. It's really, really satisfying, this one. Just the animation's great, the voice acting's great, the writing's great, the creative direction is great. What else do you need? Okay, so let's go with final verdicts. Let's start with Joe.
I really enjoyed this one. The plot was great. Like you said, the animation, I like the comic book style. I want to see more of these. I really hope there's a part 2. 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10.
Fantastic Marvel film. You want to see?
Yeah, I'm going to buy this, obviously.
What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I'm at a 9. I think this is it's got a couple things that I wouldn't call like flaws in the film. The things I would like to see a little bit more of, and because I didn't get to see some of those things that are only, I mean, this is almost a 10 out of 10 film for me. It's really, really close.
It is. It's kind of hard without nitpicking at it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
where did you miss the points?
Well, without getting too much into it, they kind of resolved the main story kind of quickly. I mean, things just kind of fell into place. And I mean, it's already a 2-hour-long film.
Yeah.
I wanted 10 more minutes, especially during the climax of the film, just to kind of feel like we resolved everything. It just kind of felt like we got to where we needed to get to. Things kind of resolved, and then I mean, it took a little while with it, but it didn't feel like it had the big ending that I really, really wanted. Yeah. So I think that's why it gets at 9. But it's a really high 9 for me.
Yeah. It starts so strong. It's really tight and focused on Miles, and then when other Spider characters start to come in, it gets busy, and it's not a negative busy, but you still have to mention that it gets busy there, and you're like, well, actually, guys, you did such a good job on Miles. I kind of want to see more of Miles' build up separately from the other characters, but they do integrate it so well, his origin story, with the other characters, that you can't really be mad at it. The villains were good. I think some of the you've seen some of them in the trailer, but maybe you could ramp that up just a tiny bit. But yeah,
they were good villains though. They were good. They were relatable. They're not like evil for evil's sake,
right?
Which I always have such a hard time buying. Like they were really good villains, and that's something that's hard to do. And a lot of these comic book films don't do a very good job with them.
Yeah,
so
on second
this one did a good
for
job.
an animated film. Actually, I'm gonna say the villains are good.
Kingpin reminded me of the guy from Despicable Me.
His design
Was I the
style
only one?
with a tiny little head and a massive body. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I was like, this is a different looking Kingpin, and I like his design. It's ridiculous, but that man has some power. And you know what? It was invoking Daredevil. Netflix's Daredevil, and what Kingpin cares about most in that film is kind of here in this film, in reference in this, and it's in the comics as well. So, just well done across the board. I am trying to find reasons to give it a 9, but honestly, I'm trying to find reasons not to give it a 10. You know what I mean? And why should I be doing that? I think that it's a 9 out of 10, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go 10 out of 10 on this.
I don't fault you for it either.
And the reason why I'm going at 10 out of 10 is because I think it is such a wild success for creative minds, for different directions, for different animation styles, for just style. This film oozes style. And honestly, at first, I was skeptical of it. And I was like, I don't want this. You got a bunch of rap music. You got the shitty frame rate animation. I wanted to come in like a Krabby Joe, but it convinced me. And
I like the soundtrack.
I like soundtrack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
like the dang soundtrack by the end of the film, and it gives this Spider-Man his own unique feel to it. And man, it's just a fantastic film, and I'm so happy that a character like Miles Morales, who when he first released, you had bigots and idiots, talking about how it's
forever and always,
forever and always. But also you had Spider-Man fans like, I don't want a Spider-Man, and they kind of shit on him because he's not Spider-Man, he's not the Spider-Man or whatever. And over time, they embraced him because they would read him, and the stories are really good.
Very compelling.
And and so for them to also get his movie correct, I think is a great thing for all of Spider fandom and for everybody out there that loves superhero movies and an inspirational story of trying to be the best that you can be. So this film has a good message, and it's just great all around. So I highly recommend you go out and see this in theaters when it comes out. What a badass success from Sony. I just didn't expect that from them.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, after what they did with Venom, which Venom is fun, but it's not like
my Venom.
It's not super faithful to the Venom character, other than some of his wackiness and it's live action, so they have that restriction. And I gotta say this, okay? I always say this. DC animation is number one. It's superb. They're always kicking fucking ass.
Not Ninja Batman.
But here comes, shut up with the ninja, but here comes fucking Marvel with like a freaking bazooka, and they just nailed this. If Marvel's animation is now going to be at this level, and I know this is Sony, in collaboration with Marvel, but way more of these, please. way more, because just great. All right, guys. So if you want to stick around for spoilers, which I don't know why you would want to do that, because this review's coming out early. But if you want to, we'll talk about some of the plot points, and you can end the video now and then wait till this comes out and then come back to the video and watch the spoilers. That'd be cool, too. So thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section where we can talk about all the nitty gritty here. So jump right into this sequel bait that you think. What are you talking about? Because we'll talk about the end credits scene that's after all the credits. But what do you mean it's sequel bait?
So he lies down at the very, not that in the movie, not before the credits. So like before the credits start to roll, he's like lying down. He puts a sticker on a big metal eagle.
Yes.
And then he lies down in bed and puts on his headphones. And then Gwen Stacy Spider-Gwen starts talking to him.
No, I didn't. What? What does she say?
Like, hi, it's Gwen. Do you have a time? Like, it was like 2 seconds long.
Shit, I fucking missed it. I was probably signing my ticket or something. What? No.
It's like half a second. And
well, then that's not a sequel bait. If it's literally 2 seconds long, it's like, hey, they still communicate, okay? You misunderstand the definition of what a sequel bait is.
Well, what do you think a sequel bait is?
A sequel bait is when it's like literally, oh, you don't get to fight the final villain and he disappears,
and the hand
you
comes
fight
out
his
of nowhere.
You fight his lieutenant, and then at the end of the film he comes through the portal and it's like, now we're gonna fight.
But yes, that's a huge sequel bait. But they're definitely baiting that there's gonna be more of these films coming.
I hope
if they can talk trans-dimensionally, then I think they're baiting towards the second one.
I don't think that's weird, because I don't think that matches up with the film, and if it does, then that's a weird sequel bait, because she doesn't have that technology.
There was nothing mentioned.
Gwen does not have that technology. Neither does Miles. And the only person smart enough, capable of that, is two people. Either the anime Spider-Man, which she goes back to her own universe, so I unless she built one for everybody, then threw them through the portals. But we got to talk about the end credit scene, which is quite possibly the funniest joke in the whole film.
You have to stay.
It's
worth it.
So I don't know. See, it sucks because I don't know in the main review, did I mention there's an after credit scene?
You did, yeah.
Okay, cool. So now we're gonna spoil it, and basically it's
one of those memes.
Yes, it's Spider-Man 2099. Miguel is, he has the technology, and apparently no, it's not a goober. It's a device.
Gizmo.
It's a gizmo this time, which is gonna allow him to travel between the verses safely or whatever. And so he travels into the next. He's like, I'm gonna go to the beginning, and they go into the 1960s cartoon, late 60s cartoon, and they do this meme that we've always seen on Reddit and other places of the Spider-Man pointing. He's like, why are you pointing at me? You're pointing at me. No, you started pointing at me first. Look, you can't point at me. And then jumping, and he's like, come with me. I need your help or something. He's like, well, who are you? No, who are you? It was super funny.
Perfect.
Great. It made the whole theater erupt in laughter, and I do hope that we do get to see Spider-Man 2099, and shit, even Spider-Man 1960s.
Bring them all back.
How funny would that be? Just pointing people. I don't know, when he's fighting villains.
He's just sitting behind the desk.
I want his same animation though whenever he comes back.
Oh, yeah.
Be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Some of the Easter eggs. The Sony PS4 Spider-Man suit is seen in the background in one of the glass cases. Multiple ones. Well, they're also comic book suits. And so they're in glass cases. Aunt May in this particular universe, it's revealed like she's almost like Alfred. She's got this shed that turns into a spider cave with all this advanced technology, and she helps Miles Morales make his suit or help him find his suit and his skills. So that was really cool. And but we do want to talk about the emotional impact. What were you saying on what made you emotionally impacted there, Joe?
He just had an emotional connection with his uncle. Like that, them two got along, and his dad didn't get along with his uncle. But he was still.
It's like his uncle was going down the wrong path. Maybe they didn't really explain it much, but it's revealed that his uncle is the Prowler, and that's in the way that it is in the comics. And the Prowler, I thought that the uncle knew who he was, because come on, he's a Spider-Man, you can see him in there, but I guess not. And he just thought it was some punk kid, he's gonna kill some kid, and then when it's revealed that it's his nephew, he's like, oh, like,
he hesitates and fucking Kingpin.
No, he not only does he hesitate, he makes the decision to not do it. He gets shot in the fucking back, and Miles picks up his body and he gets him out of there, because this is a big epic fight with Scorpion, Doc Ock, who's a female Liz or something, and Tombstone, I think it is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that doubles gun.
Oh, the Guile clone looking guy.
Yeah, and they have this big fight in Aunt May's, because Miles got a little sloppy and led them there. But anyway, so he manages to get Prowler, separated from the main group, and his father rolls up on them as his uncle dies, and it's a touching scene. And then you have the whole thing with the brother going up to his brother and seeing his brother die, and
he saw that separation. And he doesn't want the same thing to happen with Miles, so he tries to go and contact Miles.
Yeah. And the other one that I was talking about is at the beginning of the film, towards the beginning of the film, where Miles is thrown right into the middle of a battle. He sees his universe is Peter Parker, who's this perfect Peter Parker. He's like the best Spider-Man of all time. And he loses to, not only this collider technology, but also the Kingpin. They fucking literally murder his ass. And it's touching right before, because he's all messed up, but he's like, you think you can get out of it? But he's like, I need you to promise me that you're going to shut down this machine, and you're like me, and you take this device, and then they kill him. And so that gets an emotional reaction, because not only do you see it with his own supporting characters, but you see the whole city mourn Spider-Man's death. And that's well handled, and it was in the comics, so I'm not mad that they're throwing out a Spider-Man death like I was mad about Superman's death, that they didn't earn it. That's a part of Miles Morales' growth, that he owes it to his Peter Parker to sort of continue this legacy. So it's really handled very, very well. Doc Ock is revealed. You'd think it's just this weird and happy hippie scientist lady or whatever, and then she turns into Doc Ock, and you're like, oh shit, and she's kicking fucking ass.
Kingpin's story was handled really well, that he's not doing anything evil. He's actually just trying to pull his dead wife and son from an alternate dimension and just kind of steal them so he can have them again, because they died in this universe.
Yeah.
So he's not just trying to be a jerk or just trying to make money. I mean, Spider-Man wants to stop him because they don't want him to open a black hole and kill everybody. Right. But I think that was handled really well.
I think it was handled well too, and even the fact that he is a fucking jerk, because like even his family notices you're beating the shit out of Spider-Man, and now you're beating the shit out of this other Spider-Man. We don't want anything to do with you. Stop trying to pull us into this universe. Get away from us. And it's sad. So he takes out his anger and aggression and emotions out on our Spider-Man, and they highlight Miles Morales' powers. For those of you who don't know, he's not just a standard Spider-Man. He has unique Spider-Man powers that no other Spider-Man has had. He could turn invisible. He also has a little bit of telekinesis. Well, it's not called that. It's something kinesis type of powers that he can use.
Oh, they called it a Venom Strike or something like that in the movie.
Yeah, something like that. But I don't think it's called Venom Strike in the actual comics. But I'm not sure, because I don't read a lot of Miles Morales' stuff, though I definitely want to now. And he's black and red, man.
Now is the time, like right now is the time to start buying all of the original Miles Morales stuff, because once everybody sees this movie, they're going to buy all of them.
Yeah, it's really cool. And
it happens.
I'm happy. And it's sort of like where, Nightwing, becomes his own character and everybody likes him. I don't like this. Joe likes Nightwing.
He's a badass.
But now we've got, another Spider-Man that it's fun to see him. And he's been in a lot of recent media for Spider-Man, so it's cool to see him get his own movie. Like, the Spider-Man video game, he's in that. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be featured in the next Spider-Man video game. They teased a little bit of that. I hope to see Venom in that one, by the way. So, and I hope to see maybe Venom in the next Into the Spider-Verse film too. That'd be pretty sweet.
Tom Hardy.
No, not Tom Hardy's version. Though they could if they wanted to, because now they could play with so much stuff. The fact that they have all these different versions. And now that this one did so well, maybe they could do some flashbacks and get Tobey to voice the original Peter Parker, because that's who. So actually, this Peter Parker is overweight. He's
so
depressed. He's in depression.
It's like we go from perfect to everything that could happen. Like the worst thing.
Everything goes wrong in his life.
The worst thing that could happen.
Lost Mary Jane, kind of just doesn't really fight crime much. Yeah. But that first perfect Peter Parker, that was who they were going to get Tobey
and I could
to
see
voice.
That would have been fun.
It would have been amazing, and it sucks that they didn't do it. But I think they just reused his voice, the other Peter B. Parker. But yeah, so what else? What else could we spoil? I like the fact that his father's a cop in this universe. So now you have sort of like a Commissioner Gordon thing that they could be doing together. He's like, I'm looking forward to working with you. I love you. And he takes off, and he's like, what? Because he doesn't know. He thinks it's some other kid or something. I don't think they did the reveal.
He did a change, though. Because like at first, his dad hated Spider-Man.
Yeah. Not only did he hate Spider-Man for the vigilante thing, because you're a cop and you're a little jealous of the fact that Spider-Man is doing
He's
everything.
getting all the credit. We're out there every day.
But also because at one point he thinks that Spider-Man is the one that killed his brother, Miles Morales' uncle, because he's lying over him as he's giving his dying words, and then takes off. So, yeah, just well done. The side characters didn't really have, like, they try to really milk the fact that the robot lady, anime lady, lost her robot, and it didn't really go anywhere. It was just like this small little thing just to try to get more emotion. I was like, okay, now you're just being manipulative, with like the sad puppies things. You're just trying to you don't need to go that far. But no, she was super sad about that thing. And then, 10 minutes later, she was building a new one.
But her father died, and that was his robot.
No, well, that's true. And she does build a new robot, but she's still got the spider with her.
That she has a telepathic link to.
And the memory. Yeah, that's the only spider that they didn't fucking kill. I wonder what she would think about all the other Spider-Man.
Yeah, they killed it. Yeah.
Miles is just like it, and it doesn't even hurt him.
You expect this like a great reaction, like, I was like, okay.
But it does zoom in and show his power transfers and stuff. They never explain where that spider comes from, because this is technically Miles Morales' universe where there already was a Peter Parker who already got bit. So why
the spider had the name of the lab that they break into. It printed on it.
And the lab was pretty close by because he was fighting Green Goblin.
Yeah,
correct. But, I thought in his story it was like made by Norman Osborn's stuff that he made a bunch of those different spiders and they got loose. But I could be wrong about that. But, yeah.
I'm sure you'll hear about it in the comments.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
We'll find everything.
Yeah. But just fantastic. You don't have to know all the comic book lore to really enjoy this. And you will come out knowing a lot of the, best and character beats from each one of these Spider-Man from their universes.
What about your nitpicks, though?
Nitpicks. Well, I already kind of mentioned them in the review. What about yours?
I wanted more out of like the final fight because they kind of get there and then they just like plug the thing in and it takes them a while to get there, but
there's punching and kicking and stuff between Kingpin. I thought it was good because it's like they're always wanting to help him, and then at the end it's like take a leap of faith in me that I can handle this on my own, and he goes out there and he kicks his ass.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like a big final fight. It felt like there was a lot of stuff happening because the beams were going off and there's like cities being melded together and things like that, but it didn't feel like like an end boss. It was just really a fist fight between Miles Morales and Kingpin at the very end.
But that's what Kingpin does, and so did you want the fist fight to be more an extended?
Well,
fight?
they were like Scorpion was there, Doc Ock was there. They had all of these bad guys there, but they kind of resolved them, and they immediately knock out Scorpion gets knocked out with a hammer, right? And then Doc Ock, I don't remember what happened. That she just kind of. Yeah. What happened to her?
No. Good. Yeah. Yeah. So
see, it's kind of.
And they just kind of get brushed aside, and then they do a bunch of stuff, and a lot of things are happening, but it's just like
it did seem like Doc Ock was gonna have a subplot, like she was gonna maybe betray Kingpin at the end with her own machinations. It's her machine. It's not just your machine. It's our machine. Yeah. And then she was gonna do something like that, but no, that never goes anywhere. I really wish some of the second and third act jokes I was laughing at because I was looking at everybody else. They're all laughing and having a good time. It could have just been because it was like 9 in the morning and I was like, that I wasn't laughing at every single joke, like the anvil falling on the machine at the end. People are like, ha 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 ha.
Because it's this thing.
Well, the anvil was something different. The anvil, I laughed when the anvil hit, what's his face? Scorpion.
Yeah.
Because that's the moment when you got won over by Peter Porker. What happened?
He's just a funny guy. That's what he does.
John Mulaney's amazing.
What happened?
He dropped an anvil on basically just like a cartoon.
Yeah, so basically, Joe won't explain it to you. They're in a fight, and he's like, who are you? What could you possibly do to me? You're just a cartoon, and cartoons are lame and stuff. And he's like, well, excuse me? You got a problem with cartoons?
Cartoons back then were pretty violent.
And then he did some kung fu shit, and he did fucking amazing Spider-Man moves. And then he busted out the fucking mallet hammer and from his pocket, and he said, later on he gives it to Miles. He's like, this will fit in your pocket. And I believe him. Yeah, because those things come out of nowhere all the damn time. And then he drops a big fucking anvil on Scorpion. Scorpion actually took that anvil pretty well.
It was the hammer that knocked him out.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny. And, just the use of color, the use of comic book panels, the use of spray paint and creativity and artistry. Just, I got to give it up to the director, the writers, and the everybody involved in that movie, basically.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. I think that's pretty much it. Any other standout moments to see?
I think there's nothing else to spoil.
I'm
Gwen getting her haircut is because he got his fingers stuck on her hair, and he's trying to hit on her, and it didn't go so well. Hey, the whole put your hand on the shoulder and say, "Hey, girl." I'm gonna try that next date I go out on, or a girl I just come up to, hey, slap.
Probably.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. Pretty good movie, guys. Go out and see this one, definitely. All right. So we're gonna see Bumblebee later on tonight. Joe, unfortunately, has other plans.
What do you mean? Unfortunately, I really want to have plans.
Well, you're stuck with me, buddy.
It looks good.
Joe's doing an ugly sweater thing or something like that.
Pretty sweet.
So we'll have to miss out. You're missing out, Joe, because me and Joe actually was like, you know what, this is looking pretty good, kinda. And Alex is totally not feeling it. But maybe we can convince you, or maybe I will be horribly betrayed by the movie. So we
Hopefully
shall
it's
see.
not like the last night.
Oh, I know.
The last night was terrible. So, okay. So, guys, see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Oh, and don't forget, subscribe. Click the like button, and then
check
out some of the merch.
The merch.
Apparently there's like sweatshirts or something.
Oh yeah, we have a zipper hoodie now because people wanted the zippers.
One. It's super cold outside.
Okay.
I'll click the thing in there.
I'll get you one. And then click and then ding our dong. All right. Thank you guys, and we love you, and see you on the next one. Bye.